Sanders separation. Shilo Sanders gets appreciation while Shedeur Sanders gets total disregard. Two brothers enter the NFL at once. One goes to the Cleveland Browns, while other plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What ensues surprises everyone. One brother is praised for his dedication. Another is told that he was never an option. Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles says rookie safety Shilo Sanders is going to make it through the preseason. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam says, "If you had told me Friday night driving home, y'all are gonna pick Shedeur, I would have said that's not happening." Two separate tales of two Colorado Buffaloes brothers. Todd Bowles praised Tampa Bay's rookie safety. Todd Bowles said, via Buccaneers official transcript, that Shilo Sanders can make it through the preseason games. Shilo Sanders, is coming along. He's getting the scheme down. He's made plays like everybody else back there. There are a few tests that come up during the preseason. Tuesday night was one, and the other 3 preseason games and practices will be others. He's got a chance to make it. Tampa Bay head coach told Jenna Lane of ESPN that Shilo Sanders has a good grasp of things. Like the rest of the safeties, he's very intelligent and he's very loud. You could hear him making calls and everything. He has a good grasp of things on day one. There were 3 or 4 of them that did. He was one of them. But ultimately, you have to make plays in pads. That's what it comes down to, knowing what to do and then doing it consistently and constantly getting better every day. Jimmy Haslam says the Cleveland GM wanted Shedeur Sanders. On July 29th, when Browns owner addressed the media, he spoke about their rookie QB. Jimmy Haslam said the general manager decided to pick Shedeur Sanders and that if he'd known about it on a Friday, he'd have never picked him for Cleveland. "Listen, we have a good process, okay? If you had told me Friday night, driving home, y'all are gonna pick Shedeur, I would have said that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning. And then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur, just like who's gonna start or what play we're gonna call is Coach Kevin Stefanski's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call." Asante Samuel pictures Shedeur Sanders for New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr's retirement shook the whole of the New Orleans Saints. A 2-time Super Bowl champion, Asante Samuel was one of them. Samuel isn't confident about Saints rookie QB Tyler Shedeur. He offered a solution to this issue of Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders. The former Philadelphia Eagles cornerback said on his Say What Needs to Be Said podcast, "Us vets, veteran players, we don't like to play in none of the preseason games, especially the first one. I don't expect Joe Flacco to even get into the game. But you know what's most important about this game? 32 other teams are watching. That's what's most important. Now, Shedeur Sanders, goes out there and does something like he did today, 9 for 9, 2 touchdowns. 32 other teams are watching. Oh man. This might be the first time we see in history that something bizarre happens where a team tries to make a trade for him, like the Indianapolis Colts, the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are having issues with Tyler Shedeur out there, with their rookie quarterback. The Sanders brothers had always been inseparable in spirit, if not in spotlight. Sons of the legendary Deion Primetime Sanders, both Shilo and Shedeur inherited more than just talent. They inherited expectations, scrutiny, and a legacy few dared to touch. But in the swirling winds of NFL politics and public opinion, legacy doesn't always split evenly. The break in the spotlight. The scene at Cleveland Browns training camp was electric. Fans packed the sidelines, media flooded the grass, and every snap of the ball felt like a snapshot of the future. Amid all this noise, safety Shilo Sanders quietly became a standout. His reads were sharp, his hits crisp, and his leadership undeniable. Commentators were quick to praise him. He's not just Deion's son. He's his own man, a future Pro Bowler, one analyst said on ESPN. He was becoming a symbol of what grit, maturity, and discipline could do when applied without the flash. Unlike his father, Shilo wasn't overly flashy. He didn't need to be. His work spoke louder than any jewelry or Instagram post. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders, the younger brother and quarterback prodigy, seemed to fall into a different narrative, a downward spiral of what could be rather than what is. Drafted in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns, he arrived with hype, flair, and highlight reels. But hype doesn't equal representatives in the NFL. Every bad throw at camp was dissected. Every slow read was magnified. Not ready. Overrated. Prime's favoritism project. And just like that, the media's darling turned into a punchline. Inside the locker room, The contrast wasn't just in the media. It was in the locker room, too. Veterans gravitated towards Shilo, whose blue-collar attitude reminded them of themselves. Meanwhile, Shedeur struggled to gain that trust. His college tape was solid, sure, but this was the NFL, a whole different monster. Some players whispered that he was trying too hard to live up to the Sanders name. Others thought he wasn't trying hard enough. Man, we like Shedeur. But it's like, he's in his own world sometimes. One teammate admitted anonymously. Shilo, though? Dude's already a leader. The public perception war. Social media added fuel to the fire. Clips of Shilo's interceptions and textbook tackles went viral. The hashtag #ShiloSeason started trending after a preseason game against the Bears where he recorded 9 tackles and a pick 6. Even Dion himself reposted it with the caption, "My dog. You earned that." But when Shedeur threw 2 picks in a scrimmage the following week, the tone changed. This ain't Boulder anymore, kid. Go back to nil deals and YouTube. The very same audience that once adored his Colorado swagger turned cold. In just months, Shilo became the NFL's newest darling, and Shedeur, its latest cautionary tale. The family dynamics. Behind closed doors, the Sanders household felt the tension. Dion was always proud of both sons, but he couldn't ignore the shift either. He had trained them both to believe in themselves relentlessly, but even prime time couldn't stop the world from picking favorites. In a quiet moment after practice, Shedeur approached his father, frustration in his voice. "Why do they love him and hate me? I gave them everything too." Dion looked at his son, not as Coach Prime, not as an NFL legend, but as a father. "Son, they can't break what's already whole. Shilo's getting love because he's playing like he's got nothing to prove. You're playing like you've got everything to defend. Let that go." It wasn't an easy pill to swallow. But Shedeur nodded.